all, and thank you for joining us here. I'm Daniel Campbell, Le Champion of a Galaxy Far, Far Away. The original, you might say. And welcome to this, the 8th edition of Quiz Showdown. Now, today's product in wrestling is littered with incredible talents. Look at any roster and you'll see the likes of Roman Reigns, Charlotte Flair, Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre, Bianca Belair, just to name a few. And they all carry on the legacy of wrestling. So in this episode, we're going to look back at those who paved the way for everyone we have now. We're going to look at the legends of wrestling. And no, we are not going to do it by way of a very shitty video game that they released in 2009. Good God, that was awful. I mean, hell, you saw the gameplay, it was shit. Anyway, this is going to be Quiz Showdown 8 Legends of Wrestling. And we're just going to introduce the panelists that we have today. First off, he's the answer to the question, who's that guy from Saturday Draft Live? No, not him, the other one. Nah, not him, the other one. Aye, that's the one. It's David Haughney.
Hi, Daniel. I honestly thought you'd go into a bit more depth there because that could have been either me or Scott. Legends of Wrestling, a little bit more of a bleaker subject for me, as I'm much more of a sort of modern day viewer of wrestling. So, this could be a bit of a challenge for me.
Next up, we have what would happen if The Undertaker suffered from stunted growth. It's Grant McRobbie. Grant.
Hello there, and, who'd have thought... Wait, The Undertaker, hang on a second. I didn't care what this... Aye, like my hips aren't that.
Hasn't this man suffered enough? I mean, he thought he was getting a break from this, but he's had to sub in after his brother pulled out. I bet he knows a few more people who wishes they pulled out when it comes to his brother. It's Scott McLeod.
Yeah, it seems like somehow, when I think I'm out, I get pulled back in, and talking about Undertaker Dave at the minute, he's got the reverse of the reverse of an Undertaker streak. He's got a bit of a losing streak when it comes to these things, but deep down I root for you, Dave, and when it comes to Saturday Draft Live, he's not known as that other guy, he's known that one who always wears the hat.
Mm-hmm. You know it.
And lastly, we have our reigning champion. Now, there's no pressure here, but I do hear that if he loses here, his punishment is going to be that he has to present Pod 1872. It's Ryan Gallagher.
All I'm saying, boys, is that will not be necessary today. The champ is here with his pasty white arms, and I'm sitting here with my Brewdog Lost Lager, which I got for free, much like my brethren, Grant McRobbie up there. I can tell that's what he's got on his cup, no
that's
doubt.
My Lost Lager as well.
Just for the champ, boys, listen to this noise. It's a sound of success, sound of being a champion. So looking forward to tanning this beer as we go on for another podcast. Great, love it.
And now, folks, we're going to bring on the guest host for this episode. Science question. What does our host and black holes have in common? They both suck. Ladies and gentlemen, the guest host for today, one of the founding fathers of Eat, Sleep, Suplex, Retweet, and the guy who is the overlord of all things boring as hell, it's Stephen Wilson.
What's happening, everybody? Lost Lager as well, absolutely. Yep, I am the host for this particular Quiz Showdown. I hope you enjoy that. I hope you don't enjoy it. I don't particularly care. My evil laugh sucks, but hey,
wow,
I'm here to host the quiz. I'm just here to host. How's it going, everybody?
Doing good, yeah.
That was Panto villain levels of laughter.
That's what I was going for.
Folks, I'm going to bow out now. Stephen, I leave it in your capable hands. Enjoy.
Thank you, Daniel. So, as Daniel said, this is Quiz Showdown 8, and it's all about legends of wrestling. Now, we're going to have 5 rounds in this particular quiz. Each round is going to be on one legend of wrestling, but we've got to have a twist. It is Quiz Showdown. There is 10 potential rounds that will be chosen for, and they will be selected from the Wheel of Doom.
The dreaded wheel.
So as you can see, the 10 potential rounds that we have to choose from are, we have The Undertaker, we have Justin Thunder Liger, we've got Eddie Guerrero, Ric Flair, Darby Allin's best pal Sting, we've got the Macho Man Randy Savage, we have David Campbell's favourite Trish Stratus, we have Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, HBK, everyone's favourite dad, Shawn Michaels, and the Olympic hero himself, Kurt Angle. Ryan, I'll quickly throw to you as the champ. Any of these rounds in particular you're confident for, hopefully coming up?
Not confident for all of them, mate. Knowledge comes to me naturally, so I'm fine with all of these.
Mm-hmm. Grant, what about you? Anything stand out?
Liger. Always about the Liger.
Scott, what about you?
I think maybe Ricky Steamboat or Sting may be ones I'm not particularly wanting, but other ones I could give a good go. I mean, I'm just glad the GOAT isn't here. He'd storm right through that Jushin Liger round, so he would.
And Dave, what about you?
Hopefully I get The Undertaker, because I've hosted a lot of shows that we've done regarding The Undertaker's career and the Last Ride documentary, so here's hoping that knowledge will pay off.
Well, it's time to find out what
Undertaker.
It's time to find out what will be round one. So, Daniel, if you could please spin that wheel.
The wheel.
Right.
The wheel.
Doom. Round and round it goes. What one shall we get?
Oh, it's Sting.
It's Sting.
It's Sting! Cue Tony Schiavone voice. Yes. The first round in this Quiz Showdown 8 is going to be all about Sting. Now, anybody who's watched any of our past showdowns will be familiar with the theme of this particular Sting round. It is Stars in Your Eyes. Yes, folks. I'm going to be telling you about 5 Sting matches that he's had throughout his illustrious career. What you need to tell me is what good old Uncle Dave Meltzer rated them on the Wrestling Observer newsletter. You get 2 points if you get it bang on, and you get 1 point if you get within half a star. So he's already felt there's 5 matches to choose from in this particular round. So
I'm hoping you repeat one I made of Sting in last round and last time I hosted this, because I get that one. The other ones would be a complete fluke.
Well, we'll find out, because the first one is Night of Champions 2015 against Seth Rollins, his final WWE match. The second match is the infamous Victory Road 2011 versus Jeff Hardy. A match that both men would happily forget. Number 3 also comes from his run in TNA. It is the main event of Bound for Glory 2008 versus Samoa Joe.
The one where Joe landed back first on some concrete steps.
How are we feeling with this selection, guys? Any confidence in this?
Not a lot, if I'm being honest. It was mostly just guessing.
You are a melt.
Match number 4, ahead of a show that we're going to be doing in a couple of months on the podcast on the final year of WCW. It's from the Great American Bash 2000 versus Vampiro, the Human Torch match.
Good Lord.
And finally, also from his WCW run, of course it is, it's where he spent most of his career, it's Halloween Havoc 1998 versus Bret the Hitman Hart.
Oh.
So like I said, 2 points for a correct answer and 1 point if you're within half a star. Do we all have answers for each of those questions?
Yep.
I
Yes.
think so.
Right, so first off, question number 1. Night of Champions 2015 versus Seth Rollins. Ryan, what do you have?
I went for 3.
Anybody got anything different?
2.75.
I put 2.5.
3.5.
It was free.
Yes.
It was free, so that's
1 point.
1 point for pretty much everybody apart from Ryan, who gets 2.
Super.
Prick.
Question 2. Jeff Hardy,
Also,
Victory
Grant,
Road.
I meant to pick you up earlier, Grant. It's pronounced lager, mate. Lager, not liger. It's lager.
Lager, son. We're in there. This is a nice cool sting.
So, the question 2. Victory Road 2011 versus Jeff Hardy. Scott, what have you got?
I just put -5 stars with 4 exclamation marks.
I take it we're all in the negatives on this particular one.
Yeah.
I went for -1 on that one.
I said -2.
I went +1.
Oh, Grant, you were too nice. It was, in fact, -1.
Ah!
Yes.
I was sure this was one of the famous -5 star matches.
No, it was -1. -1.
So
Ryan's already streaking ahead here, guys. But that could change very quickly with question 3. And it was Bound for Glory 2008 versus Samoa Joe. Grant, what have you got?
I went 4 stars.
Dave?
4.5.
Ryan?
4.
Scott?
3 3/4.
Scott got it right. It was 3
Oh my
and
God.
3/4. 3.75.
So is that 1 point then for me?
1 point for Ryan, 1 point for Grant, 2 for
Nothing
Scott,
for
and
me.
1 for Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Question 4. The Human Torch match with Vampiro at the Great American Bash 2000. Dave, what have you got here?
1.5.
1.5. Ryan?
I was torn of going for a negative one or not, but I just went for a flat 0. I wasn't sure
Scott?
either way.
I went for the same as Dave, but I still think that's been too generous.
Grant?
-2.
Grant McRobbie gets the points. It's -2.
Oh, that was worse than... That's saying something if that was worse than versus Jeff Hardy at Victory Road.
I mean,
It was
the
awful.
man got lit on
I
fire.
remember it.
It's really bad. It's really... The whole feud is really bad. The whole feud had potential, but it sucked. It so sucked.
Like Vampiro, it sucked.
Finally, Halloween Havoc 1998 versus Bret Hart. Ryan, 2 of the legends of all time. What have you went for?
1.5.
Scott?
I thought this may actually be rated quite highly, up at 4 stars.
Grant?
3.
Dave?
4.
Sorry guys, points go to Ryan. It was 1.5
yes.
stars.
My
Wow.
God.
Wow.
All I'll say, boys, all I'll say on that is that was a complete, total guess. I assumed because it was question 5 that it was going to be not what you expect, hence why I went for a low part one, so that was no knowledge behind that one, but get it up easy anyway.
So, by my
Yours too,
count,
Prick.
after round 1, we have Dave on 1 point.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Scott on 3.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Grant on 4. And Ryan ahead on 7.
Yep.
So, all to play. There's still all to play for, though. So, we've still got 4 rounds, and they are quite high scoring, the potentials. So, Ryan could be caught, but we don't know. But to find out what we're going to get in round 2, we go back to the Wheel of Doom. We got Sting, which was one of the ones that the guys weren't too sure about. But let's see what comes next. Daniel, if you could please spin
that wheel.
The worst game
That's
show.
never going to catch.
Let's see what goes round.
Oh my God, it's Trish Stratus.
Oh.
It's time to rock and roll!
Oh, great.
It's
Oh,
Trish
send it off the
Stratus.
roll.
Now, guys, round 2, Trish Stratus. 5 questions for you, just basic general knowledge around about the Hall of Famer that is Trish Stratus. There is 10 points up for grabs in this particular round. Let's see how you do. We're going to start with a trip back nearly 20 years ago, where Trish Stratus won her first women's title at the 2001 Survivor Series. She won it in a 6-pack challenge. Can you tell me the 5 women she beat to win the title? It's a point for each one, lads.
For each one.
point for each one, so 5 points up for grabs. So this could turn the quiz one question into the round. I think if I'd asked you about 10 minutes ago what you would not wanted to start this quiz with, I think Sting and Trish Stratus combination would have been up there.
I don't know, I've got 5 names down at least, so that's something.
I've got 4 names.
Well, I'm struggling to think of a fifth from that era.
Made up 5. Let's see what happens.
There's potential to get one right. Who knows? Right. So question 2. Back in late 2003-2004, 2 Canadians by the name of Chris Jericho and Christian had a bet. Can you please tell me what the bet was of who could date Trish or Lita first?
Your classic romance.
So, like, what was the actual bet?
What was the bet?
Stake in the bet?
That's fine.
What was the stake in the bet, yeah?
What was the stake, yeah?
Oh, the bet was who could date Trish or Lita first. That's in the question. So,
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like, I thought that's what you asked me, like, you just told us what it was.
Yeah, no, I've seen it on promos and stuff. I know what it is.
Question 3, again, for 1 point. Can you please tell me, how many WrestleManias has Trish wrestled at?
Ooh.
Any Trish Stratus fans in the panel here?
For their own reasons.
I think I might know this actually. I think I might know this actually because of a past quiz.
Yeah, I think something like this may have popped up.
Hasn't
like
I don't remember much Trish Stratus questions.
I mean, I like Trish. I think I argued on the Trish Lita show that Trish was better than Lita, but it was so long ago.
I was a big Lita fan back in the day, to be fair. I was more Lita over Trish.
Same.
I mean, Lita was great, but I think I preferred Trish.
So, question number 4. The first ever Women's Royal Rumble in 2018 saw Trish enter at number 30. Now, for 2 points, first, can you tell me how many eliminations she got? And for the second point, tell me who they were. Now, if you get 2 of them right, guys, I'll give you half a point. So, the amount of eliminations and how many she got. So, if you get half of them, more than half, you get the point. You get half a point, sorry, if you get more than half of them. I watched this Rumble in preparation for the actual Rumble and forgot that Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose were in a stable with Paige. Loving the looks of concentration in this particular round.
I've got an easy one that I can remember.
I say if you get more than half of them, I'll give you half a point. But if you get the full amount that elimination she got, you get the full bonus point. Finally, question number 5. Can you please tell me who storyline injured Trish at Backlash 2005? I thought I'd be nice with this one. So far in this one, we've had the only AEW link to this quiz and the only female wrestler in the quiz so far. So, an interesting start to this quiz showdown number 8. Do we all have answers for all the questions? Anything repeated or anything?
Yeah.
I've guessed them. I've guessed it. And
I've got at least. I've got at least 3.
Right. So we'll go on then to get the answers in. And we'll start with question 1. And that was the one with big 5 points, so half the points on this round. The 5 women that Trish beat to win her first title at Survivor Series in 2001. Now, Dave, you said you had 5 names down here. Who have you got?
I have Jazz, Molly Holly, Ivory, Victoria, and Lita.
Jazz, Molly Holly, Lita, Ivory, and Victoria.
Yep.
4 points for Dave.
Yes.
Victoria wasn't around yet.
Aye, that was a guess, that last one.
Grant, who do you have? Do you have any of those names?
Nah, I had Sable, Deborah, Jacqueline, Mickey James, and Ivory.
Well, Grant, you get 2 points. 2 points there.
Aye.
Oh, it was
Stop
Sable.
you
Oh,
laughing,
shit, was it
Dave, you
Sable?
prick.
No, I think it was Sable, actually.
Ryan, who have you got?
I went Lita, Molly Holly, Jacqueline, Jazz, and Tori Wilson.
4 points for Ryan as well.
Sorry.
Scott, what about you?
I originally put the first 4 and then remembered the fifth one. I put Jazz, Ivory. I more actually put Mighty Molly because she was that at the time. Lita, and I couldn't remember now. I was going to put Victoria, but I remembered Jacqueline was around, so.
Yep, Scott gets the full 5 points there. It was Ivory, Jazz, Jacqueline, Lita, and Mighty Molly, but Molly Holly, perfectly fine. Question number 2. What was the bet to see who would date Trish or Lita first between Jericho and Christian? Scott, what have you got?
They put up $1 Canadian.
Did they get anything different?
Same.
If that's right, I'm going to be raising because I just guessed 10,000 Canadian dollars.
No, it was $1.
It was
$1
$1 Canadian dollar. So, Dave, you got that one right.
Yep.
Grant, did you get that one?
Aye. That makes me laugh.
Question number 3. How many WrestleManias has Trish wrestled at? Ryan, what have you got?
No idea, I just guessed 6.
Scott?
I also put 6.
Grant?
I put 3.
And Dave?
I said 5.
The point goes to David Haughney.
Yes.
5.
Yep. Because I remember on the Royal Rumble Gauntlet quiz a few years ago, her win-loss record's 3-2.
Shit, I thought she wrestled at WrestleMania 20.
No, she
didn't.
For some reason.
She only appeared. She did.
She had WrestleMania
Excuse you.
18 and 19 were both triple threat matches. 21 and 22 were against Christy Hemme and Ashley Mazzaro. And of course the match at WrestleMania 27 with Snooki in it.
She never faced Ashley Mazzaro.
Oh, she was in 2 matches. Mickey James, sorry. Did I say Ashley Mazzaro?
You said Ashley Mazzaro, yeah.
The following year.
Yeah. Ashley Mazzaro was involved somehow. I knew it was. It's 5 WrestleManias, regardless. So 2 points on the line here, folks. We asked you how many eliminations Trish got in the 2018 Royal Rumble, and if you could name them. Grant, what have you got?
I went 5. No idea why.
I'll ask the eliminations first from everybody. Dave, what have you got?
I said 2 eliminations.
Ryan, how many eliminations?
I've went 3, but it might be 2.
Okay, and Scott, what have you got?
I just put 2.
Okay, so the answer to that was 3. So that's that one right. Can some guys name the wrestlers they've got?
Mickey James?
Yeah.
Yep.
I put that down as well.
Okay.
Natalia?
Dave? Yep.
Becky Lynch?
No.
No.
Are we giving her... I'm assuming the third one is when they teamed up to eliminate Nia Jax. Was she involved in that?
Bingo! There we go.
That was my guess. I couldn't remember if she was going to get credited with that one or not. Hence why I wasn't sure if it's 2 or 3.
So, Ryan got the 2 points there. And Dave, how many of those wrestlers did you get?
I only got Mickey James, so I get 0.
Grant, how many of them did you get?
0.
0. Scott, how many of them did you get?
I got Mickey and Nia. But I didn't get the
Yeah,
third one.
Nia, so that's half a point for you.
I always seem... Natalia seems to always slip my mind because I think about her so little.
Final question. Whose storyline injured Trish at Backlash 2005? Scott, who is it?
It was the world's largest love machine, Mr. I'm pretty sure I mentioned his match with Kane and my Stars in the Rise because that got half a star or something like that.
Yes, he's right.
Rob.
It was. Big Vis himself, Viscera.
Great.
So if we can tally up there.
Mm-hmm.
David, how many did you get in that round?
7.
7 for Dave. Very well done. Ryan, how many did you get?
I get 6.
6 for Ryan. Scott?
I got 7.5, and that half makes all the difference.
7.5. And Grant?
I don't know, I didn't count.
Did you get
But
the last one
that
right?
as the host.
Did you get the last
No.
one right?
No.
No, you get 3 then. You get 3. So,
Pub quiz is this, you got to count your own scores.
so after that round, Grant has
I got
slipped to
10.
the bottom. He's on 7. Dave has crawled his way back up to 8.
Mm-hmm.
We have Scott on 10.5. But still in the lead with 13 is Ryan. So there's only 6 points in it, guys. So still plenty to go for, with 3 rounds left to go. Daniel, could you present the wheel to us again, please? What are we hoping for you then, guys?
Undertaker
Undertaker.
Aye, go for Taker.
Or Kurt Angle.
or Eddie Guerrero.
Any ones that we don't want to see? Obviously, we've had Trish there, which didn't really suit many people.
Not Jushin.
Liger.
No Ricky Steamboat, please.
For Ricky to you, man.
I mean, he's
Daniel,
got the best real name in wrestling. His real name is Dick Blood.
That's a
You
great
should go to a
standard.
doctor about that.
Oh dear.
Daniel, put the guys out the misery and spin the wheel. Round and round the wheel goes. Let's see where they end up.
It's which came true. It's the Undertaker.
Oh,
The Undertaker.
Hey, there we go.
The dead man himself. It is the Undertaker. Now, all the other rounds are 5 questions, but the Undertaker round's a 6-question round worth 10 points, and it's based on the other 3. We know the Undertaker is well known for his streak at WrestleMania, but he's also had a lot of history in terms of the other events, other big 3 events. So this is all Undertaker-based questions on the Royal Rumble, on SummerSlam, and on Survivor Series. We're going to start with question 1, which is about the latter, because that's where Undertaker made his debut in 1990 in a Survivor Series elimination match. Guys, could you please tell me, who was the sole survivor in that match? 1990, before David Haughney realised wrestling was a thing.
That was before I was born.
Before. Dave, you talked a big game very early on, saying that you wanted Undertaker around. You've hosted all the Undertaker quizzes.
Mm-hmm.
Or the Undertaker shows, sorry.
No, I've got a name down. I think I know. I think I've got a strong guess for this one. I'm just trying to remember who it was. I think that's the one that makes sense.
So we remember in 2007 when Undertaker finally won a Royal Rumble match. Can you please tell me what attempt was it that he won this Royal Rumble match? So obviously between then and his debut, he was in such set many Rumble matches. So what Rumble match was this that he was in, that he had his win? Are you all still confident about this Undertaker round?
No, not at all.
Not particularly.
Well, I'm going to throw another Royal Rumble question in for you folks. And it's based on just after David Haughney was born, he'll be thankfully here. At the 1994 Royal Rumble, he took on Yokozuna. Please tell me how many men it took to help him lose that match. The very famous ending to that pay-per-view where he rose from the big screen, which clearly wasn't him.
He said, I have to go now. My planet needs me.
I quite like this match. Yokozuna's quite a character. If you've watched the WWE Icons series. Now we're going to flash forward a wee bit, folks, back to 2007. And can you please tell me how this year's Royal Rumble winner, the Rated R Superstar Edge, was able to insert himself into The Undertaker's World Heavyweight title match with Batista at that year's event? Ryan, you come into this round with a lead. What's your thoughts there?
I've made an ass of this one, I think.
I know this one.
On this
It was
day,
actually quite such a good spot.
I've now realised that I put two questions around about the same two times I put questions on the same year. So I've had two 2007 questions, and now I'm going to have two 1994 questions. If you remember, after the Yokozuna match, Undertaker took a lot of time off, returning at the 1994 SummerSlam to face the fake Undertaker. Please, guys, can you please tell me who played the fake Undertaker?
Oh, no.
Forgotten his name.
I don't talk about it a lot, but on my podcast, on Paul's Rallying podcast, we reviewed SummerSlam 94 a couple of months ago. It's right up here.
I've been informed by our producer here that the person who ascended at the Royal Rumble 1994 as The Undertaker was in fact Marty Jannetty.
He's used to getting high. It's Big Marty, so he was very comfortable.
Grant, you were the only one in the panel who didn't really want the Undertaker round coming up. How are you feeling?
Absolutely smashing.
Well, the final question in this round, I'm going to be brutally honest, it's a bit of guesswork, but hey ho. I'm going to present you 5 SummerSlam matches from The Undertaker's career. I would like you to list them from shortest to longest.
Oh, come on.
So the 5 matches that you have to choose from are 1993 versus the Great Giant Gonzalez.
Are you going to put these all up at the one time so we can bring it, or what?
Just write them down.
Okay, cool.
Alright, so we just writing all these down.
Somebody's didn't actually use pen and paper at him, thank you.
We've got 1996, the Boiler Room match with Mankind. We have his match from the year 2000 against Kane.
You say from shortest to longest?
Shortest to longest, aye.
Shortest and longest, okay.
We have 2005, the rematch from WrestleMania 21 against Randy Orton. And finally, the match from 2015 with Brock Lesnar. So that is Giant Gonzalez from 1993, Mankind from 1996, Kane from the year 2000, Randy Orton from 2005, and Brock Lesnar from 2015. You get a point for every single one of these that you get in the right place. The first 5 questions were all worth 1 point each as well, by the way.
Complete shot in the dark.
You can literally take a random swing at this and get some points.
The Brock one's annoying because you think, like, especially given his second, like, he doesn't wrestle long matches, but, you know, but with The Undertaker, I think...
You never know, yeah. That was a proper main event match as well.
Well, before this...
I have literally just guessed all of them.
Well, before we came on air, me and Daniel were talking about a couple of matches around about time, and didn't realise that some matches were as long as they were, and some matches were as short as they were.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
One of them, I think I'm the most sure about one of them, I think.
Had to change my order already. It's a bit of a tricky one.
Go for Brock, Dave. You're only 5 points behind.
So if I get that last one right, I'll have made up the difference.
Aye, but that relies on Ryan getting every question wrong before it.
Which you might do.
I have a fear we all might do.
Do we all have answers for all the questions so far?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll start with question 1. And that would obviously, his Undertaker's debut match was at Survivor Series 1990. Who was the sole survivor in that match? Grant, what have you got?
Didn't answer it. Second. Can't remember.
Okay. Dave, who you got?
Ted DiBiase.
Scott?
I also put, the heel team captain, Ted DiBiase.
And Ryan?
I wasn't sure about going for DBS or not, but I just put Greg Valentine.
You should have went for DiBiase because that was the answer.
Yeah,
Ted DiBiase.
I thought that was too obvious. I don't know why. I don't actually. I remember the team roughly, but I don't remember the match.
Before I went back and looked at it, I always thought it was Bret Hart. But Bret Hart was a loser.
He was on the team, yeah. But...
He was a losing captain, yeah.
So, going to the Royal Rumble, can you tell me on what attempt The Undertaker won his first Rumble match? Dave?
Complete shot in the dark. I said 9.
Ryan?
I said 7.
Grant?
I went 4.
Scott?
8.
The point goes to Ryan. It is 7.
Yeah.
Is that 2006, wasn't it?
7.
2007.
He had a few years where he only wrestled in the world title match for a few years.
Mm-hmm. He had the 2005
time off as well, I think.
2005, he had the casket match with Heidenreich, but he never entered that year.
Can we not talk about that match? What a horrendous
Heidenreich, man.
Sorry, I brought it up.
What a memory that is, Dave, man. Heidenreich, I forgot that guy even existed.
Hey, I talked about it on the LOD show.
Hey, I blew your mind with my knowledge of Armageddon 2006. Remember that?
Yeah, I know. I'm still not over that, to be fair. Still can't get my head around that.
So, back to casket matches. We had these matches with Yokozuna in 1994 where it took a certain number of men to eliminate him from the match. Scott, what's the number?
Well, I just threw it out because there's more than I could remember. 9.
Dave?
I said 4.
Ryan?
I guessed 5.
Grant?
I went 6.
And the point goes to Scott. It was 9.
9 people?
There were a lot. It was like a cluster.
I've never seen that match, Dave.
I almost went for 10 as well.
It was a lot of people.
I didn't think it was that many, though.
Who'd you have? You had like Crush, Jeff Jarrett, Diesel. I can't even remember. Like the head shrinkers were out there. I wanted to ask at one point, does this include Fuji and Cornette? Did they help? Did they pitch in?
No, this is just outside. This is just people who interfered in the match that weren't previously involved. So 9 men.
All right.
I did double check the word in the question. He said, "Who helped Yoko?" And I thought, does this include Yoko himself?
I've got the next one right.
Dave, I'm going to put you in the spot. How did Edge manage to insert himself into the world title match between Undertaker and Batista?
He disguised himself as a cameraman.
Ryan, what have you got?
Nothing. Didn't answer it.
Grant?
Didn't answer it.
Scott?
Cameraman.
Yeah, he dressed himself as a cameraman.
Yep, the show wasn't bullshit yet.
If we believe you. Question 5. Who played the fake Undertaker at the 1994 SummerSlam? Ryan?
Brian Lee.
Scott?
Ryan Lee.
Grant?
No answer.
And Dave?
Also no answer, I just blanked.
Ryan and Scott get points. It was Brian Lee.
He'd go on to be part of like DOA, wouldn't he? I can't remember what he was called in DOA though.
Chains. He was chains in DOA.
Was he chains? Yeah.
So
I would have accepted chains if people had gave it. But obviously, we had 2 no answers and 1, 2 for Brian Lee, so that's fine.
Alright.
Right, so the final question with the match order one. Obviously, there was the 5 matches. Giant Gonzalez 93, Mankind 96, Kane 2000, Orton 2005, and Lesnar 2015. Dave, you seemed most confident when we were writing this down. What's the match order? Give me the numbers.
All right, I had 2, 1, 4, 5, 3.
3 points.
Fair dues.
Ryan.
I put 3, 4, 1, 5, 2.
3 points for you as well, Ryan.
Ooh.
Scott.
So it's the shortest to longest, to double checking again, yeah?
Yes, shortest to longest.
I went 3, 1, 5, 4, 2.
3, 1, 5, 4, 2. 3 points for you as well, Scott.
Very good.
And Grant, what have you got?
I went for Gonzalez, Kane, Orton, Mankind, and Lesnar in that order.
Gonzalez, Kane, Mankind, Orton, Lesnar.
No, got Kane, Orton, Mankind, Lesnar.
Gonzalez, Kane.
1, 3, 4, 2, 5.
1, 3, 4, 2, 5. Thanks. 1 point for Grant. These were all very close, by the way. These were very, very close in that particular one. It was actually 3, 1, 4, 5, 2.
Mankind. Okay.
I knew,
So Mankind was the longest.
I knew Kane went like 7 minutes because he just kept trying to clear the mask.
To let people know, Kane match went on for 7 minutes 33 seconds. Gonzalez went for 8 minutes and 4 seconds. We had the Orton match went on for 17 minutes 17 seconds. The Lesnar match went on for 17 minutes 50 seconds. And the Mankind match, the Boiler Room Brawl, went on for 26 minutes and 40 seconds.
Yeah, I think I put the Brock match in the middle because, like I said, I don't know. You're never sure about Brock the Aspect Lane because he doesn't like long matches, seemingly in his latest run.
So, going into the 4th round, we've got Grant on 8 points, Dave on 13, Scott on 17, and still ahead is the champ, is Ryan on 18 points.
Closing the gap there, Scott, son.
Yeah.
See, I'm trying not to. I tried to lose these quizzes because if I win, that means I have to come back. I want a week off from this.
When have you ever tried to throw a quiz?
I did it at the quiz. This is what I openly said one of the answers, totally by accident.
He did actually, yeah.
Did you not win that quiz?
Yes.
He did.
He's done really a very good job at throwing the quiz.
The Rumble one I blame on the fact that we recorded the day after the Star Wars quiz because I had done no studying for the Rumble and just did all Star Wars.
Anyway, enough about that. Let's throw back to the wheel. So, from that, we still have Kurt Angle, Randy Savage, Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat, Shawn Michaels, Eddie Guerrero, and Justin Thunder Liger. So, Daniel, as we go into round 4, could you please spin the wheel? Round and round and round the wheel goes. Where shall it land?
Oh, it's... Woo!
It's the Nature Boy. It is Ric Flair. So, the Ric Flair round is one of the smaller rounds in terms of points. There's 8 points on the line for the Ric Flair round. And we're going to start off with one from quite recent. Could you please tell me what Rick did in September 2019 to cause a rift in real life with his daughter, Charlotte Flair?
In
real life?
In real life?
Yeah, the real life thing.
Ooh.
The world outside of wrestling.
Not a clue.
Now, I might ask at this point, How many world titles Ric Flair won? But that's a daft question because most people would get that right. What you might not be able to tell me is who Flair beat to win his final world title from. The Lost Lager, there wasn't agreeing with me there, actually. I don't know if you've heard that.
Nice.
Who even was that? I couldn't even tell. There was no mouse moving.
I think it was Grant.
That's the
Wasn't
secret.
me.
You can't see the mouth move if there's too much beard to show it.
Very cryptic. Dave Haughney's got a bit of stubble going on. He's got a bit of a designer stubble there.
Got the old 5 o'clock shadow.
Scott has a wee bit of beard on his chin.
No, mine's just looks like I haven't washed my face properly. I can't do facial hair.
Dave and Ryan look like opposing teams at the Super Bowl.
Right, going on now to question 3. And not many people, people unfortunately remember that Ric Flair was in TNA. And when he was in TNA, he formed a stable known as Fortune. Now, there was 4 wrestlers originally selected for Fortune out of 5. Could you please tell me who the wrestler was who missed out on being in that original stable?
What?
Fortune 4.
I'm just going to see if my microphone can pick up what I think about this.
For God's sake.
That clearly works.
I tell you though, if round 5 is Liger, Grant could be in for the comeback of the bloody century.
He's got everything
lined up.
I really wanted Liger to come up. I'm not going to lie. I'm disappointed Liger is not so far came up. The 2 rounds I didn't want to come up with, the ones I've prepped, are Trish and Ric Flair. Came up.
Well,
there you are.
the wheel says bugger you.
Wheel's a bitch. Sorry, Jack. Wheel's a bitch. Moving on to question 4. Ric Flair's WWE career ended in 2008 at WrestleMania 24, but he went on a bit of a retirement run from late 2007 to 2008, essentially with Vince McMahon saying he had to essentially beat whoever came in front of him. So can you please tell me the first person that Flair defeated during this particular retirement run? Right, you've got a 1-point lead. As it stands, you weren't confident in the Undertaker rounds. Are you confident now?
No. I'm actually even less confident with this. I've taken a punt at 1 and 2. I don't know 3, and I'm going to guess this one as well. So
I'm not gonna lie, you could probably take punts in most of these questions and maybe get it close, you know. Now the final question of this round. We're all part of the ESSR draft, right? The current season. Now, Ric Flair was also part of a draft. He was part of the first ever WWE draft in 2002, but he was the Raw GM. Now, I'm going to give you 4 positions of picks that Ric Flair made that particular night. You're going to have to tell me who he picked.
Oh dear.
Ready for this one?
No.
Not really, but alright.
So,
If I did not fart ready, you'd get it.
So guys, who did Flair pick at number 4? Number 6?
are you going to ask us a few here? Aye, okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
number 6. Number 9. And number 10.
And what year was this? 2002?
The original draft. The one that was him and Vince picking from each side.
So 2002.
There's no draft that compares. The rest of them are crap otherwise.
What one was he again? Flair? I missed the start of the question. Was he Raw or SmackDown?
He was a Raw GM.
You say no
GM,
draft
yeah.
compares, but remember when Finn Balor got drafted and made a hell of an impact right in the get-go?
Mm-hmm. He's in
Yeah, 2006. That one in 2002 were good because they were kind of like fresh. See all the draft lottery stuff, it's came like otherwise. Like, see the one last year was pish.
Well, it made an impact. The impact was his shoulder hitting off the barricade. That was the impact.
I mean, you know what he means. He would have been massive if he didn't injure his shoulder. He probably would have held that title for a good while, and then been fed to Goldberg.
Is it 1 point for each?
1 point for each, but 4 for the final question. So 4 for each of those ones.
Right.
We all get answers?
Mm-hmm.
As much as we can.
Mm-hmm.
So, the first question. What did Flair do in September 2019 to cause a rift with his daughter Charlotte? Grant, you seem very confident.
He sued WWE, did he know?
Yeah.
Was it the stuff with the man?
Oh, did he?
You try to
He
lawsuit
filed a
for the
trademark
man.
for the man. Yes. Grant, I'll give you it. I'll give you that one. I'll give you it because it was kind of the same thing. Yeah. Okay. Did anybody else have that?
No, I completely got it wrong.
Scott, did you have it? Right, I'll give points to Ryan and Grant on that one.
I just put, I don't know if you can see that, I just put the man stuff.
I'll give you points for it.
I was going to say, I'll just go right as an answer, did he say something nasty about Andrade and it hurt her feelings?
That's what I'd originally thought.
I filed a trademark for the man. He has now pulled out of that trademark, I think, so the man has pretty much WWE's Becky Lynch's.
Mm-hmm.
So he technically
So
did sue WWE for a trademark. Question 2. Who did he beat to win his final world title? I'm very interested to see what he's all came up with on this particular one. Dave?
I've got... Dave, you.
All right. Sting. I don't know.
Ryan, what have you got?
Right, I've got 2 answers here. You can tell. I'm going to give you them both, and you can tell me if the second one's wanted. So I put from the match Jeff Jarrett, but I can't remember if you're counting when he was stripped of it and handed it back again, because I remember that happened. So I was just counting matches rather than scenarios.
Well, the question was who did he win his world title from?
Right, okay. Jeff Jarrett.
Scott?
I put Kevin Nash. I'm pretty sure there's one where Kevin Nash vacated and gave it to Flair, and that's counted as his last.
Yeah, that's the. Sorry, Ryan, I was counting that one.
Oh, you were counting that one? I thought you told me you weren't.
No, I said who did they win the title from? I didn't say who did they beat to win the title. Who did they win the title from?
But I thought you meant just matches, though. An actual match, rather than being given it.
Hang on. How can you count it as a win when someone gives you it?
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I wasn't sure.
He forfeited the belt, and Flair was declared champion. It's in the record books as Flair winning the title.
Do
He
we all
didn't win
think
it
this?
from vacant.
I don't know. That seems a bit dodgy.
It's in
Right.
the record books.
Everybody says it's dodgy. I'm going to be fair. I'm going to avoid it. No point.
I got that one right.
Oh well.
People have
Was
said
it
that.
Jeff Jarrett, though? Alternatively, was it Jeff Jarrett? Alternatively?
I can't remember. I didn't look that up.
Utter pish, this, honestly.
Grant, did you fart on demand?
I've had an Indian tonight, okay?
I must admit, right, I think Scott should get that one. I think Scott should get the point for that one.
I'm the only
Because
one
that
who
is
said
fine.
Kevin Nash.
And I also think I should be given it as well, because I did say beforehand that he was handed it. Like,
You didn't make it clear, though. You said you had 2 answers. You said you had Jeff
Well,
Jarrett.
he said Jeff Jarrett, but
Dave,
yeah,
Grant,
but
I think in the interest of fairness, I think Scott should get the point and Ryan gets half a point.
Because Nash won it, gave it to Flair. Flair defended it against, I think, Jarrett, and then lost it. So that is a reign.
right. If I lose this by a point, I'm going to start stabbing because that's bullshit. I made that very clear that I had 2 decisions and I wasn't sure which one to go with. And Stephen told me that it was going to be a match. He told me what match did he win it in, hence why I went for the Jeff Jarrett one. If I knew that you were going to take into consideration the other one.
No, you know what? Give Scott and Ryan the points. Me and Grant get nothing.
Avoid it.
Non-void.
I thought void that was fine, but hey, I'll come back to it. Question 3. Who was the one who missed out on being in Fortune?
Samoa Joe.
It was Desmond Wolfe, aka Nigel McGuinness.
Ryan?
I never got in.
Grant?
I went jail lethal.
It was Desmond Wolfe, Nigel McGuinness.
So am I getting that point, or is somebody going to argue that should be void as well?
Ah, shut up, greeting face.
Daniel, you're impartial in this whole thing. I like you. What would you think on that one? What did we decide on the point?
The point is going to go to both Ryan and Scott.
Cool.
Okay.
So, moving on. Thanks, Daniel. Question number 4. Who was the first person Flair defeated in his retirement run, 2007 to 2008? Dave?
Bit of a stab in the dark, but I said MVP.
Grant?
I didn't put an answer for that.
Ryan?
I just guessed Lashley. I don't know.
Scott?
I know he got MVP as part of this run, so I put MVP.
These are all wrong. It was the Legend Killer, Randy Orton.
Ah.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Nope. Wouldn't have guessed that at all. So I know we faced MVP at the 2008 Rumble. That's what I was thinking of.
Right. So I then asked you who Flair picked at 4, 6, 9 and 10 respectively in the 2002 draft for Raw. We'll go to Grant. Who did you pick on those numbers?
The answers. Didn't ken. No, Scooby.
Fair enough. Ryan, what about you?
I guessed all of them. Kane, Big Show, Bradshaw and Lita.
Kane, Big Show, Bradshaw and Lita.
2
points for you, Ryan.
Ooh, not bad.
Dave?
I said Kane, RVD, Christian, and Lita.
1 point for you, Dave, and I'll tell you why.
Right, okay.
And Scott?
Brock Lesnar, Kane, Maven, because I think he was a low pick, and Lita.
And 1 point for you too, Scott. Dave, you picked RVD, but in the wrong spot. RVD was 4th.
I knew it.
It was.
I knew it was like
RVD, Big Show, William Regal, and Lita.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
I had RVD down at 4th first, but I thought maybe Kane would get priority, but damn it, I'm annoyed at that.
I was so confident I was going to not get any points for that. That's why I argued so hardly for that 1 point earlier on. I'm taking them where I can get them.
So we now go into the final round, which has a standing at Grant on 9. We have Dave on 14. And now just 2 points separate Ryan and Scott at 22 and 20. And we have one more spin of the wheel, guys.
Oh boy.
It's been a cruel mistress this evening. So let's see what it pulls up for this final round.
Please
So
don't
Daniel,
land on
one
Liger.
last time. Could you spin the wheel, please?
I swear, if this lands on Liger, I'm going to be fuming.
Dave just rage quits the whole thing.
Oh, thank God, it's Eddie Guerrero. Oh, that was lucky.
Eddie Guerrero, the final round.
Yes.
I reckon if that landed on Liger, Dave finishes last in this.
Yeah, I would have. Yeah, Grant would have easily beaten me in that one.
Aye.
Right, so 9 points on the line for Eddie Guerrero. And the first question is, in which city did Eddie Guerrero win the WWE title from Brock Lesnar?
So if Ryan has get all these wrong and I get everything right, that's my only chance of winning.
Yes.
Is it? Who's got 20 and 22? Is it me that's got 20 and...
You've got 20 and Ryan's got 22. So Ryan is in the lead. Question number 2. What was the match stipulation when Eddie lost the IC title to Rob Van Dam on a 2002 May edition of Raw?
Serious concentration here.
No, I'm feeling slightly more confident now.
I'd hope so, Dave. You need a clean sweep here to have a chance.
Yeah. Well, so far so good.
Question number 3. In WCW, Eddie was one of the founding members of the Filthy Animals stable. Can you name the other 2 founding members? 2 points for that, obviously. Scott, Ryan, what are your thoughts here?
I'm thinking so far so good here.
I can only remember one, and the other one's a guess.
Grant, obviously you have a bit more of a niche fandom of wrestling. Was this the 5 rounds you would have wanted?
Well, I'd sooner shite my hands and clap while getting my balls chomped on by a bunch of crocodiles.
I don't think that's a no.
And it's getting to that point where if I hear that laugh one more time, Dave, I will violate social distancing and punt you right in the buzz.
Simple.
On to question 4. In the year 2000, one of the highlights of that year was Eddie's partnership with Mamacita, China. Can you please tell me the storyline reason that they split? Question 5, the final question of this particular quiz showdown, is worth 4 points. Now, could you please tell me the last singles match Eddie Guerrero had in each of the following promotions? Obviously, there's WWE, WCW, ECW, and the Independent Wrestling Association, the IWA. That's WWE, WCW, ECW, and IWA.
I'm coming about 2 out of 4.
So unless Dave makes a miraculous...
I don't think I've done it.
Ryan and Scott. What a feather in Ryan's cap it would be if he beat Scott in 2 quiz showdowns in a row. Just means he needs to do another one. Anyway, we'll go on to the question.
I might just pass the Auries.
Anyway, we'll go on to the answers and we will round off this edition of Quiz Showdown. First question: in which city did Eddie Guerrero win the WWE title from Brock Lesnar? Dave?
It's right on my hat. San Francisco.
Anybody else?
Yep. Same.
It is the Daly City, which is in San Francisco.
What? He's actually put Daly City.
Yeah, I'll give you San Francisco though.
It was in Uniondale.
That joke died long ago along with Alan Jones.
Oh, but 44 still gets brought up though. Yeah.
Thank you, Daniel.
Potato potato. Question number 2. The match stipulation when Eddie lost the IC title to RVD. Grant?
No DQ.
Scott?
Ladder match.
Ryan?
Ladder.
Dave?
Ladder match.
It was a ladder match.
Is that when a fan interfered?
I think so, yeah.
I think it was, aye.
Like, a guy pushed over the ladder, Eddie basically just clocked him right in the face. Security dragged him out. Was that same match?
I think it was, aye. If I remember right.
That's what came into my head.
Question number 3. The other 2 founding members of the Filthy Animals stable in WCW. Ryan?
I guess Mysterio and Conan.
Scott?
Same Mysterio and Conan.
Grant?
Adnan.
And Dave?
That filthy animal, Dean Malenko, eh?
This goes.
Shut
This
up,
goes.
I don't know.
2 points to Ryan and Scott. That's Mysterio.
Never would have guessed that.
So, folks, what was the storyline reason for the on-screen split with China? Dave, I think you might get this one.
Did he cheat on her?
Can you be more precise?
Oh, come on. He cheated on her with, I don't know, Nancy Benoit. I don't know.
All the people you could have said.
I don't know.
All the people.
Half at least.
Grant, do you have anything?
I wrote she had a bobby.
What?
We never know.
I mean, but you would have thought that, but there's no evidence to suggest that she didn't.
Was that one night in China by any chance?
I'm saying nothing, mate. Saying nothing.
What's that playing in the background, Ryan?
Sorry. I'll think
Ryan, do you have an answer?
I just put he was cheating on her, but I didn't know you were asking for more. I'm trying to remember it now, but I can't remember specifics. Was it like 2 birds or something like that? There was like 2 women she caught him with or something.
Scott, what have you got?
I thought it was the whole thing about her being in Playboy. He was just angry about that.
Oh no, I'm going to give it. It's not fully right, but I'm going to give half a point to Ryan and Dave. It was he was caught in the shower with 2 of the Godfather's hosts.
So he cheated on her.
So you get half a point.
Okay.
I'll allow it.
So, based on what I've got here, Ryan has a 2.5 point lead going into this final question. Big pressure on him. So, what was the last singles matches that Eddie Guerrero had in those promotions? WWE, WCW, ECW, and IWA. Grant, I'll start with you on this one. Who's the 4 people that you have?
I had none. Second.
Alright, fair enough. Dave?
Well, I know WWE was Mr. Kennedy. WCW, I had Rey Mysterio. ECW, I had Rhino. And IWA, I didn't know. I just guessed Juventud Guerrera.
You get 1 point, Dave. 1 point.
Yeah, Mr. Kennedy.
Scott, I'm going to throw it to you. Who have you got for your 4?
I put Mr. Kennedy, WWE. WCW, I really couldn't remember. So I took a shot in the dark and said Mysterio. ECW, I believe it was Dean Malenko. And IWA, I believe he fought Punk on the Indies, so I just put CM Punk.
Ryan, I'm going to ask you before I give Scott's answers. What have you got?
Oh, you tease.
So I also went Kennedy in WWE. WCW, no idea. I just guessed like the NWO in some way, just fired it in. ECW, I put Benoit. And I actually also put Punk on the Indies, just for no reason. I don't think it's right, but it's the only indie person I could think of.
Okay, so I shall reveal those answers in a minute. So that has been pretty much the last round of this particular quiz showdown. Now, after the 5 rounds, we've got with 9 points, we have Grant McRobbie. Grant, thanks for taking part.
Golf clap for Grant. Golf clap for Grant.
His farting was magnificent. I'm not going to lie. It's doing it on demand. Fantastic stuff. We've got with 17.5 points, we have David Haughney.
You know what? I'll allow it. That's. I think I was better than I anticipated.
One of these days, Dave. One of these days.
Now, second, with 27 points, was Scott McLeod, which means for the second time in a row, with 28.5 points, Ryan is the winner.
Wow.
The answer to that last question, you've all got Mr. Kennedy. You got the other one, WCW. We had Billy Kidman. We had
my other answer.
Dean Malenko and CM Punk. For the
Fucking
answers
Punk.
there.
What a guess Punk was.
So winning by 1.5 points. It's defending successfully his Quiz Showdown champion. It's Ryan Gallagher. Ryan, how do you feel?
It's an ironic thing. This can, the Brewdog lost lager because I haven't lost 2 in a row now. So, but that was great, boys. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed that. Wasn't expecting to win, but I will say that the guesses fell in my favour with the topics. If they get any of the other ones, I reckon I would have really, really struggled. So we were quite lucky in that sense.
I'll throw back to Daniel on this one. Daniel, obviously the Quiz Showdown mastermind. Daniel, what was your thoughts?
I was very much like wondering how that was going to go on the last round, but that was a fantastic one. I will say one of the MVPs of this episode easily was the fart that Grant did earlier, so that's going to be staying in the episode. I'm just letting you know right now, Grant. But it was brilliant from start to finish. First off, guys, can we also give a round of applause for the Quizmaster on this particular episode, our Lord and Saviour, Stephen. Grant is clapping, he just doesn't want to show it.
He's doing it on the inside.
Pretty much, yeah. But that is... It was a great quiz, just to watch that going all the way through. Ryan, of course, you've won that one, so you don't have to host Pod 1872, but you'll be back here next time on Quiz Showdown. Well, we hope.
That's alright. I'm quite happy with that.
Fingers crossed you'll be happy with that when we come on to Quiz Showdown 9 next month. So, let us be honest. 2020 was shite. So, we're going to have a little look back at it. We're going to explore things that happened in 2020, maybe some shows that were aired during 2020, and just try to find some light in the shit that was 2020. So, you can join us next time on Quiz Showdown 9. What the fuck was that all about? Inventive title, I know. But in the meantime, do check out what we have on YouTube coming up very soon. At the time this has gone out, you will have just seen the other semi-final match of the Book It tournament between Stephen Wilson and Strack. And we will all know, spoilers for the guys who are here in the room right now, that it will be Stephen Wilson versus David Haughney in the finals of the Book It tournament. Now, gentlemen.
Fight.
That's exactly what we're looking for, Scott. Gentlemen, you can use the next few moments to say anything you want to say to your opponent. Stephen, do you have something to say?
I need to really state much of my case. I mean, Dave just puts himself in a hole as it is, so digs himself in it. I mean, come on, Dave. Nancy Benoit.
Hey, listen. Forget all the bad puns and the jokes that make me dig my own hole. The fact of the matter is, I can book it, and I can book it well. So you better be prepared. You better be prepared down to every last detail, because with this analytical mind, I will pick every single flaw that you've got going for you. And I know you're going to do the same for me. But the important thing is, I'll be prepared for it.
No, you won't.
You think you're special. You do. I can see it in your eyes.
We will be finding out at the end of the finals who indeed can be walking away singing, "Yes, sir, I can book it," all night long. Awful joke from me. Woohoo! Ladies, to let everyone know, Mr. Wilson and Haughney are going to be booking the Raw after WrestleMania 37. Now, obviously, everyone on here is involved in Book It in some way. Now, I'll go and get some predictions from you guys. Ryan, who out of the two do you think potentially has the best chance of winning?
David Haughney, because I want to be beaten by the eventual winner.
Ooh. Scott?
I'm just going to go with Dave on this one, you know. I know OSDL bias, but fuck you. I'm going with Dave.
Interesting. And Grant, who are you going with?
Remember that tagline for that really, really shite film, lads, years ago? Alien versus Predator. Whoever wins, we lose. That's my approach on this.
Most fitting thing I've ever heard about this.
I would also say though, after the tagline, I'm favouring Dave because Steve, you for putting me out in the first round, you ginger prick.
That's 3 for 3 for me.
It's very interesting. So do join us. The Book It final will be coming in the latter stages of March as we get closer to WrestleMania, and you will also see Quiz Showdown 9 in that same time period. But folks, thank you for joining us today. Thank you again to Steve Molson for hosting the quiz today. Brilliant job.
Thank you very much. Pleasure.
And I will now say thank you to the panellists for taking part. Grant, brilliant effort.
Pleasure.
David Haughney, brilliant to see you here.
Yeah, thank you.
And Scott, another good job from you, pal.
Thank you. I look forward to the message asking me to fill in 2 days before Quiz Showdown 9.
Which you will not get. And now we have to say thank you. Of course. But folks, we also have to say congratulations again. He won it last time. He's defended it here. Ladies and gentlemen, the reigning Quiz Showdown champion, Ryan Gallagher.
Thank you very much. Just want to say a massive, massive apology to absolutely nobody. The champ is here. Double champ. 2-time in a row. Successful. Get in.
Will he make it 3 times in a row? Join us again to find out. We'll catch you all later.